Welcome into the City Pigeons Podcast. Jesse Rendell here with Rock Matthews, Mike Meech, special guest Rob Kelly. Rob, what's up?
What's happening?
How you doing, man?
Good.
We are down here at the Bronco Bar in Ocean City, New Jersey. Now, I know it doesn't look like a bar per se, and it may be my neighbor's garage where I spend a lot of...
Yeah, I think that's having a bar in Ocean City is illegal, isn't it?
You know, that's a good point
Yeah.
that I didn't even think about. But this is our little speakeasy spot that is my neighbor's garage. So shout out to the Morans for...
There's plenty of booze in here, so it can be considered a bar, I guess.
That is true.
Yeah.
So if you ever need any booze, you just come to the Bronco Bar. I will not release the address on this fine program. But given that the July 4th holiday has just passed and everybody's been down the shore and it's kind of the official kickoff to the shore season, we wanted to really dive into all things summer and Jersey Shore. And so we made the trek down here and we wanted to get a unique perspective on this. So we brought in the local perspective. Rob Kelly, a guy who I've known for many years. Let's give him a little round of applause. Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All fine guests on the City Pigeons podcast appear courtesy of, nope, we're not there yet, so we'll get there eventually. Okay, so we wanted to get into all things shore, and Rob, I know we share something in common in that you did grow up in Pennsylvania. Up to what point? I want to try and get my facts straight here.
Yep. So grew up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Ivyland. Went to school in Council Rock. Yep.
Wow.
So basically, we always had a shore house down here in Ocean City, and we would come here weekends, in the summer. And then when I turned 15, right before starting high school, we basically were down here for summer vacation and never really went back. Summer vacation kind of just kept going. My parents enrolled us to school in Ocean City, so I started my freshman year of high school down here.
Wow.
And feels like I've been on summer vacation pretty much ever since. Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's amazing because I spent a lot of time here growing up. All my summers got super into surfing, and so I was coming down, in the winter and chasing different swells and getting out as much as I could. And I always imagined what would it be like, to just move down and just leave everything that was at home. But as I got older, I think it's actually kind of funny. It was like the Philly sports stuff and going to games and all that it was hard for me to attach myself from. But 15, man, that's pretty late. I thought it was earlier than that. So even more impressive that you've gone on to become what many would call like a local legend down here. I don't want to make you feel, weird, but the truth is Rob has become one of the most noteworthy surfers in New Jersey. Anybody who follows surfing really anywhere at this point, I think if they were asked, who's the guy in New Jersey, would probably say Rob Kelly, Sam Hammer. These are the guys that are going out and just getting after it year round.
That's who I would say.
That's
if
who
you
you would
asked,
say
if you
if I
asked
asked
me,
I probably
I'd
would
say
said,
Rob Kelly.
Jesse Rendell. And,
And I appreciate that, Rock, but there's levels to this. All right, you're
Probably
not
Jamie.
aware. You're not Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jamie. So this is we're sitting in
that's what
Jamie's
I'm saying.
garage. Jamie gets respect. He's done a lot of amazing things.
And
But-
thanks to Brad for these delicious drinks.
Yeah, baby, the rum punch. She's
Fantastic.
bringing us a
delicious.
taste of Barbados. So we appreciate
What's
that.
those sprinkles on top? Just curious. Nice.
This is
Nutmeg.
a Bayesian drink with a little nutmeg sprinkled on the top. So thank you guys for that. But as I was saying, with you, Rob, it's been interesting to see how you have become kind of this guy who's known all over the place for going out in New Jersey and getting the heaviest waves in the craziest conditions. And I think a lot of people have a lot of respect for the fact that a lot of that is done in really cold weather, right? So talk to us a little bit about that, like how you kind of developed this niche for yourself by just getting after it.
Yeah, I guess it naturally the best waves that we have, if you're a surfer from New Jersey or the Northeast, pretty much the East Coast as well, the best waves you get are in the winter. And obviously we know what the weather's like around here, so you either just deal with it, get out there when it's cold, or you're not surfing. So I think it's not sort of a choice that we we want to go out and be these gnarly dudes and surf in the snow and all that stuff. The kind of stuff that the industry has sort of taken a liking to and kind of given us the opportunity to be pro surfers without having to go to California, Hawaii. But it's not like we made that decision that, hey, we want to do this. Hell, if it was, we could surf in board shorts tropical all year, we would, but this is just what we have. And it's funny, the sort of mainstream sort of media and just the surf world has sort of have been sort of drawn to it. I think it's something that's not super like relatable, and when you think about surfing, it's not something that it's
Right.
like pops in your head.
Yeah.
So when people see guys walking out in the snow and going to go surf in New Jersey, it's entertaining, kind of catches people's attention. But really, surfers have been doing that from Jersey forever.
Yeah.
It just social media sort of has shed the light on it, and we just the surfers that are kind of growing up trying to make a career out of now just happen to sort of take advantage of that.
Well, I will also say the wetsuits have gotten a lot better.
Wetsuits have gotten a lot better,
10, 15
yeah.
years ago, that was a different program. But
Yeah, so even more credit to like Jamie and you guys and the people before you.
even before that, those guys are the real legends. 'cause
Oh, yeah,
we had it
absolutely.
pretty good.
So I was going to ask about that, right? So the average person who doesn't surf like me or Meech, right, might look at this and like say, like, what the hell are these fucking guys doing out in the middle of the winter in this cold ocean? How much insulation does that wetsuit provide? Are you still like freezing cold out there, or you get a little?
Well, my
more
man goes out
comfortable?
without the wetsuit. Like he.
Yeah, I did see
Yeah,
that.
that's
That was
a whole
that was
nother
true.
different-
That's
Yeah.
another level to this. But first, talk to what
Yeah.
it's
That
like.
is a good question. Like you mentioned, they've gotten a lot better. And it seems like almost every season they get better and better. I would like say now, I'm biased, but I almost feel like I could be warmer in the middle of the winter in like a good wetsuit than surfing out here on like a kind of chillier day in
Yeah.
the summer.
But you
So-
still eventually have to get out of the water.
You gotta get out of the water. You gotta change.
And then
that's the
hits
cold
you.
part.
And that's
yeah.
like that's like hypothermia type of stuff.
Yeah.
Also, like you do a better job navigating it. If it's me, I'm going over the falls, getting completely washed out on every wave, and that's a lot colder.
I'd be in the
That
middle of
is
the
true.
ocean like the lady from Titanic at the end, holding on to the surfboard, just dying in
Listen,
the water.
That's a good analogy.
Hey,
Sometimes you do
if we
feel
put
like that.
him in one of these winter suits, he would. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. He's making light of it, but you're just very much like, you know what I mean? It's very hard to do, and you get tired like immediately. You start moving.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like having somebody honestly draped over your back as you try to do something. It's very difficult. So I give credit to guys like you who have
Hell
just
yeah.
mastered it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You do such a good job with it, whereas I struggle mightily with it, and it's just tough. But it's great to be down here in Ocean City because this is where Meech and I first met back in the 90s. I'm remembering. I don't remember the specific day, but I do remember all the fun times we had at the playground there. And so this is a special moment for us. Are you feeling the special?
Not listen. I'm a little sore about this now because I don't have the house any
Right.
longer. So
You're bitter.
Yeah, I'm a little bitter coming back here, but I love the memories. It was the greatest times of my life. Where my summers, I was like 8 years old when my parents got a house. They sold it like 3 years ago, but from 8 to 19, I was down here every summer, all summer long, and I'm telling you, it was.
Oh, we heard the
greatest.
stories. We heard the stories.
You know what I realized though, because Ocean City has always been and still is this like family resort. Everybody thinks it's like the safest place on earth, which it probably is, but it allows you to run amok, right? Like the kids, like now, even my kids, you guys saw when you came here, there's 20 kids, and the parents just feel more comfortable letting you go do it. So you have this like independence, and that's all good until you get to about like 15, 16,
Yeah,
and
then
then,
independence
nice
is a
at the
little.
playground.
then Meech introduces you to CeeLo. You start
Yeah.
losing all your parents' money, and everything goes downhill really quick. Now, so Meech, you have that history with the beach. Rock, growing up, I gotta like, we've been on the beach a couple times, but I'm just guessing like there wasn't much of a beach program for you growing up. Is that true?
That's pretty true. I would probably come down like once a summer, twice a summer, just
Here
go
and there.
Atlantic City, Wildwood, typical
Okay.
shit.
Do you remember your last? I don't know if this is your only attempt at surfing, but do you remember the last time that you tried to surf?
The last time I tried to surf
Yes.
was last year in Portugal. and
Okay.
That didn't go well either. But
That didn't go well either?
The last time down here, that
Yeah.
definitely didn't go well. Yeah.
That didn't go well.
No.
Yeah,
That
because
is that when you almost died?
Yeah, I did almost
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, so
that was-
just to set the scene for everybody, I think we came down to play some golf, right? Like a
Yeah,
couple buddies
yeah,
came
yeah.
down. We were staying down here, and then I think we actually were too hungover to play golf, and so we stayed on the beach. And you decided, you were like, "I'm gonna do this surfing shit. I'm going." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm just hanging out, like real tired. But I look up, and he's like 300 yards out to sea. And I'm telling you, on this day, it's
I
funny.
partially blame you for this. By
No,
the way.
I don't.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with this. You did it. I guess I could have gone out with you.
You
in
did go out
retrospect.
with me. You were paddling out there with me, and you were like.
See, this is when you have two versions of the story. I remember it differently. But the bottom line is, it's funny. I'm thinking of the Seinfeld thing. Like, the sea was angry that day, my friends. Like, it was dead flat. Like, it couldn't have been more calm. There was, like, little kids everywhere. And somehow this guy ends up 200 yards out to sea. And we're, like, waving at him. Like, yo. He comes in. He's like, I don't know what happened out there. Like, I don't know what happened either because there's literally no waves at all. I don't know how you ended up out there. But what I do know is everybody has this different beach experience. And for you, maybe it's not the most natural thing, right? You're not spending a ton of time down here?
Not too much. This is my first time down here this year.
Can we agree that the beach is WAF?
Nah, not. I mean, this beach in particular.
All
Yeah.
beaches.
No, not all beaches.
No.
What are you talking about?
A lot
There's
of beaches.
in Jamaica.
So for those of you guys who don't know, WAF stands for white as fuck. It's a term that
if you're
Rodg-
talking about like East Coast North American, like Jersey Shore, yeah, but
all
like
right, well, beaches in our area. Can we say that?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad.
I was
don't-
never exposed to this until I, went
Right.
to our also WAF high school. So yeah.
I can't believe this. It's turning into a beautiful day after all this. The rain was in the forecast. It's like it was meant to be. It's shining in here. Well,
Enough about my beach experience. What about the?
Enough
We got a
about-
pro surfer.
yeah, we got a pro
Let's talk
surfer here,
about
but more importantly than a pro surfer, he now has the local view of what it's like to have your town invaded by people from Pennsylvania every summer. And I picked up on, there's a vibe there, obviously, when you get into kind of the surf scene. The Shoobies, everybody knows what a shoobie is, right?
Sure,
Which
yeah.
apparently dates back to people bringing shoe boxes, right? When they came for their day trips to the beach. Is that how you understand it?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, like in the 1920s or.
I
something.
guess that's all you had. They didn't have backpacks back then, so
What?
they brought shoe
They
boxes.
brought their lunch in a shoebox, and that's how you kind of knew who came from Pennsylvania or
I
wherever.
brought my one shoebox with my lunch in it today. That doesn't seem like a good thing to bring to the beach at all. You know what I mean?
There had
Yeah.
to be something safer to bring your lunch in than a shoebox back then.
They didn't have the Yetis back in.
Yeah.
No, there's no
Didn't have
Yetis.
the Yetis.
But anyway, that's where the whole shoobie term originated from, and it's become a thing, right? If you live down here, the shoobies come in every, June, July, and they leave in September, October. And I can feel like you almost rejoice when it's over, right? But my question to you is, since we're here, I think July 4th is the unofficial kickoff to full-on summer, right? Do you feel
yeah,
that way?
Yeah, we always say
I used
that.
to think it was like June, but I think it just gets
Yeah.
pushed back.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about it when all of these, kooky folks invade your town? Do you like summer, or are you like, this is really annoying?
So I like we talked about. I have definitely a unique perspective because like I'm a shoobie.
You can relate.
Yeah, I'm a shoobie. That being said, I've been here.
So you have a soft spot for
I
the
do
shoobie.
have more of a soft spot than like the true locals. Even though I've lived here
Right.
now more than half my life.
Yeah.
It's a bittersweet kind of thing, especially growing up. Working and being like as a kid working a job on the boardwalk or whatever. It's like you got to deal with them, but it's also what's
Makes a lot of
allowing
money.
you to make money.
Yeah.
And then as you sort of get older and a lot of
Crankier.
the crankier, yeah,
Yep.
the realtors in town. Pretty much anyone that lives here in town makes money off the shoebies somewhere or another. So it's this bittersweet thing. Everyone sort of complains about it, but at the same time, you kind of need it.
They
Yeah.
fund the local economy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Probably-
crazy too. You have all these businesses that are funded by 3 months worth of business.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not an
Yeah.
easy thing to do.
And
So-
if you can pull it off, it's a pretty
Yeah,
good
it's perfect,
lifestyle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this is one of the most inelastic real estate markets in the country, right? Like the property here is always worth a ton, and everybody wants to be here. So there's a lot of pluses and minuses to it. But when I was growing up, it was a big thing, right? Like I was from Pennsylvania, so when I was coming into the scene, like people were just like hating on that. To see you break through. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Go from a Pennsylvania person to an accepted Jersey guy, that means a lot to me. So I'm very happy for you.
From shoobie to NJ legend.
Yeah,
I think
it's a rare thing.
I've kind of
Yeah.
given up on it, you know what I mean? Like I'm a shoobie, and it's just gonna be what it's gonna be, and I'm just
See,
gonna have to live with
I
that.
embraced it from back in the day. Like, you want to call me a shoobie? I never gave a shit if anyone called me a shoobie. I mean, what do you want me to do? Live down here all year? It's not where my parents
what if
drive
I
me
could-
down
yeah.
here. I'm fucking 10. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely a stigma to it, and I think it's definitely heightened, like in the sort of surf scene down here.
Definitely.
Just like sort of anything like that is.
If you think about it, right, it's no surprise that like being a shoobie or being from Pennsylvania translates to going in the ocean and doing stupid things.
Of course.
Right, and so you've got all these people. Oh, I'll try surfing or whatever, and guys like you are out there trying to get legitimate waves, and you got all these people in their way. So I understand how it's frustrating. I can sympathize with it, but I'm torn like you.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things I love about Philadelphia. I look at it like having your cake and eating it too is the best thing ever, right? It can be in Philly. I can do lots of great things. I can come down here, appreciate the beauty of the beach and surf and all that, and there's nothing wrong with that to me.
Yeah.
That's the way I believe it.
No doubt,
But
yeah.
I am a little pissed that I'm a shoobie.
yeah.
But anyway, so you've managed to break through and do some amazing things, and I wanted to ask you, like, how did you decide? Because I think a lot of people who were in your position made that decision to go to California, right, or go to Hawaii. So, like in the surf industry, historically, if you were going to make a life out of surfing, you had to go to California, you had to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I think probably social media has changed this a little bit, right? But I was interested to talk to you about that, the decision to say, number one, like, I'm going to try to make a life for myself out of surfing, and number two, I'm going to do that by being here in Jersey. Maybe it wasn't that deliberate, but that's kind of how I imagined it in my mind. So.
Yeah, no, that's pretty spot on. Part of the reason that my parents moved us down here or allowed us to move down here was because they saw sort of that. I don't know if they necessarily saw a future like professionally with surfing, but they saw that my brother and I were getting really into it. We were competing. Living in Pennsylvania, we were already competing down here, like when we were 13 or 14. I think like before we actually made that move, I think I was already like sponsored by Billabong. So my parents saw that there was like a sort of a legit, I don't know if the career path was what they saw, but they saw the passion that my brother and I had. So that kind of let them to make the sacrifice, let it move down here. My dad was commuting. He worked in Bucks County, so he was commuting. Which was difficult, so it was definitely a sacrifice on his part because he saw the kind of
Did he
future
work at
there.
the Eric Four Feasterville?
He worked at Erickson Retirement Community. I thought you were about to say that.
I hung out in Bucks County my whole year.
Okay.
I know everywhere.
Yeah.
Around Bucks County.
You know what's crazy?
Cool.
I never, like growing up, I never went to Bucks County. Like it is like.
Well, I lived on the
to me.
cusp. I lived on I lived in Somerton. So
Okay.
a lot of my friends lived in. A lot of my friends went to Wood, or I went to Ryan. So a lot of my friends went to Wood and lived in Bucks County, hung out in Bucks County.
The
So
sports
I was
teams
always
probably played each other. Yeah.
I mean, we already established that I'm basically from the Northeast, but I didn't go any further than that.
You're not even
You know what I mean?
close to the Northeast.
I'm right there, man. I'm right there. I'm legit. I've been to the Chickies and Peas. I've done all that. I've done all that stuff.
I've been to Chickies and Pete's.
I've done all
You're
that
no
stuff.
more from the Northeast than I am, buddy.
I've done all that stuff. So anyway,
Sorry for interrupting your
you know what?
conversation.
No, we love your interruptions. Keep it coming. So, but your parents were like, if I'm thinking about it from their perspective, they're like, man, kind of might be fun to just ditch all this Bucks County stuff and just come down the shore and live that vacation life. And whoop, Rob's doing great. He's surfing his butt off. Let's just go do that. You know what I mean? They make that decision. And then you get down here, you're in like the local scene. But at some point you have to decide, right? Like, and I think a lot of people who get like super into surfing have to make this decision, right? Am I going to actually try to build something out of this, or is it just going to be a fun thing that I do? And you kind of got to choose. And so for you, you kind of figured it out and we're like, I can stay here and still make it work.
Yeah, and I guess that wasn't even necessarily my like original plan. I kind of made that decision, when my parents said to move here. In my mind, I was already, this is what I wanted to do. And I don't know, it's sort of a weird kind of thing. I'm not like a hippie spiritual kind of guy, but for some reason, even before I surfed, in my second grade yearbook, when I wrote like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wrote professional surfer.
That's great.
Years before I even stood up on a surfboard. I can't like trace exactly what my motive behind that was, but my mom was from Hawaii. Her brother surfed, so my uncle, I guess, is like when you're that age, you look up to your uncle.
Okay.
So I think that's where it stemmed from. But it is this kind of bizarre thing where, like, even though I lived in Pennsylvania, really had no sort of like part of surfing in my life at the time. I always knew that's what I wanted to be. So when my parents moved down here, that just kind of like heightened that, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I had to move pretty quickly.
Not to interrupt you, but I'm going to, because I also, at 14 years old, I went to my parents and I said, I want to move to the shore. I want to be a professional surfer. And they were like, hell no, that's not happening. They had jobs and stuff they had to do, and so that dream died right there.
They made a great decision.
Yeah.
Well, look at all that I've become.
They knew you didn't have
it.
They knew I didn't have it.
You know what? They looked at me and they go, are you sure people with your body type are supposed to be professional surfers? Because you're eating a lot of McDonald's, young Jesse. No, but I'm glad.
So not only did they kill your dream, they also shamed you about it.
Well, I might have.
In doing so.
I embellished a little bit of that. I'm sure 14-year-old Rob and 14-year-old Jesse looked a little bit different. Yeah. And look at us now. It's held pretty true.
So as an adult, like I'm sure you had the chance to like move out to Hawaii or California or wherever. What made you decide to stay here?
Yeah, it sort of kind of happened naturally, and I think at the timing with like social media and stuff was just kicking off.
Okay.
When I was kind of coming into that age, like out of high school, where you'd make that decision: am I gonna like move to California, go on like the tour and try to compete like on the world tour and travel the world doing all the contests and sort of grinding it out.
Which is so hard to do.
Which is really hard, expensive.
And everybody was doing that, by the way.
You had to. That was the only path where. So you couldn't be based out of New Jersey and, be a professional surfer until social media kind of came up, and then you could sort of be a valuable asset to your brands and almost kind of create your own kind of brand. And the timing was just kind of perfect, like I said, up until that point when you told people. I still traveled quite a bit, and when you would tell people you're from New Jersey, like at those early years, people would be like, "Are there even waves there? Like, oh, you can surf there? What's the closest beach? Whatever." You get those questions. Now, fast forward, even not that long ago, like within 10 years, now that social media has kind of come up, where we've been able to make an opportunity showcasing the waves here and getting paid to do it.
Oh yeah, we checked your shit out, man. Looks crazy.
Yeah. So now when you travel, I can go to Indonesia, Tahiti, wherever. You say you're from New Jersey, they don't say, "Oh, there's
like,
waves there."
You're that maniac that goes out there without the wetsuit in the
They
middle of the
recognize-
snowstorm.
So that's your doing partially, right?
Yeah, all the guys,
Well, I mean,
my colleagues.
That's pretty fucking
and-
cool. I mean,
Yeah. But
something
I have to
proud
give
of
them
for
credit
sure.
because they realized that we have to go do this. We have to document it because they were already doing it. They're not out there at 6 a.m. on a 20-degree day because they want to get a clip. They're out there because they want to be there. And so just by starting to document it, social media created the platform for that. And it was captivating, I think, because it's so cold, but it's also heavy. And by heavy, I mean like significant size waves, really big, what are called barrels. Now, we're getting
generally speaking, like in the wintertime, New Jersey.
I
has-
know what a barrel is?
barrel is.
It's a tube, a gnarly tube. Yes.
I've ridden them in my mock boogie board with my mock 20
with the
boogie.
fins. You had the fins.
I had the fins.
The fins were actually a dangerous
The
thing.
retractable fins that broke off after a month.
Yeah, well, you needed retractable because in Ocean City, for example, when you were young, if your boogie board had fins, you couldn't go in front of the lifeguards. You had to move down. So you were kind of you were breaking the.
But we were
the mold.
52nd Street, no lifeguards.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Right.
Didn't matter. Down the
Lifeguard
south end,
free.
we don't have them. Screw the lifeguards.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, really cool how you were able to create, something for yourself here using the tools at your disposal. And I think anybody that knows you and like the Dark Fall guys and like everybody that started to really go for it knows, man, that's like a lot of like really cold mornings. Like I almost feel I got a lot of respect for you. I mean, you're going out there and you're getting worked and you're getting like amazing waves, but then you also got like the filmer who's standing there on the he's filming, dude. He's on the beach.
Their job's probably tougher than ours.
It's probably 20 degrees.
I always respect those guys when I watch like those adventure shows, like those Bear Grylls shows when he's jumping around. I'm like, what about that guy who's
doing
filming
the exact
him?
same thing.
He's
getting
doing
no
it with all
credit
this
for it.
equipment in his hand. He's better than you, dude.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And
for
we'll
us,
also
too.
say, going through the exercise of doing this podcast, for now 2 months or whatever, and building up before that, making content is not easy either, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta, your guy films it, you're probably talking to him, he's cutting it up, you're putting it up on YouTube, you're building a following, so a lot
and
goes
the
into that.
turnaround has to be pretty quick now to sort of stay relevant.
Totally,
versus,
right?
like,
It's like sports media, right? Like something happens in sports, everybody's firing it out.
Yep.
When the day of the Jersey
Where it's
swell goes
almost
down-
like-
catch that wave. if
It's
you
almost
wait.
like recording a podcast and having it filmed by a guy and having him put it out in a
That's
day
it.
and a half.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aleco with the quick turnaround. Great job. But no, it is
Yes.
true. Like anytime there's a huge storm in Jersey, it's like a race to see who's going to get the best clip out first, right?
Yeah, that's
And then like
exactly
one
it.
of the national, Surfline or one of these big things picks it up and does a story. And it's funny, like that sounds like it's not that meaningful, but for a guy like you, it means everything, right? Like it keeps the whole thing going.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Gotta
how
hustle.
we can continue to get paid to sort of do what we love, and kind of again testament to what you're saying, like how that gets picked up nationally. For us, there's waves happening in Hawaii and
Right.
crazier stuff, but the national magazines now, they're sort of incentivized to kind of run stuff from New Jersey because the engagement that they get sort of from the local following here is a lot stronger than some of the world-class waves around the world. So again, that's sort of kind of in the area, and I think it's sort of related to like you can relate it to like Philly sports fans. They're diehard and supportive, and for that reason the engagement whenever they post content from New Jersey,
So that's an
keeps us
interesting
going.
parallel that you just created, right? Because I do think there's something you said for people who are from Jersey, that surf in Jersey, or even New York, Northeast, who like are committed enough to be going out there and are following their local legends and stuff, and the way they kind of support that in the same way that somebody who's from Philly and is like, you know, this is a gritty sports town, this is a blue collar sports town, like I'm a part of this. Like there's definitely like a similar energy there, don't you think?
Yeah, totally.
And so you, and this is funny, I always kind of like felt some sort of way about this a little bit because like people down the shore would always give me shit for being like from PA, but then like they were like Eagles, and I was like, I mean, come on, man.
They're like, we're from just outside Philly.
Yeah.
We're at South
like,
Jersey.
Yeah, they're from Philly when they want to be.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and by the way,
totally.
and so this, I wanted to talk about this because I think we can all agree, right? Football, NFL football has become just like such a massive thing, right? It has just, grown so much. And I think a lot of that is driven by fantasy football, right? I know, by the way, didn't you just win the fantasy football league that you're in?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a couple people in that league. So I was like,
Second
props to
year in a
Rob.
row.
Second year in a row.
Yeah.
How much is the payout on that thing?
I
I think this is low weight stuff.
Why are you getting
isn't
into
it?
this man's pocket?
Yeah, yo, man.
Yeah,
what are you trying to get the IRS involved?
I know these people.
How
and I'm
much
trying
money
to
did you win?
call them out.
Yeah, I think it's like 150 or 200.
Oh, that's not
so
bad. That's not bad.
1,200.
Right, so that's a nice little, cushion there around the
Some new
holidays.
surfboards, yeah.
I've won a couple fantasy football pools, and it always happens right around the holidays. You know, it's nice to have that,
Influx of
Definitely
holiday
nice.
cash.
that you would immediately take probably and turn it around on something, and then maybe you turn it.
No,
into
I'd have to turn it around on you know how much money I spend on goddamn Christmas gifts?
Oh, he has 5
Yeah.
kids.
Okay, wow.
5 kids.
I
Yeah,
have
so
one.
they all
so
get
I
like.
can't
Yeah.
imagine.
He's etiquette. Recently, how old's your kid?
He just turned 1.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Awesome.
man.
Now, do
No,
all your
thank
kids
you.
get like one gift at Christmas? How does this work?
No, it's not like a Hanukkah, man. No, they get a shitload. They each get a nice little pile of
Oh,
gifts.
boy.
Brad, thank you, my man.
big one.
Brad's
So they get a lot.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about my kids' Christmas gifts. I was just making.
I
a
find it
stupid joke.
interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone has 5 kids?
We'll have
that's
a
interesting to me.
Christmas gift episode maybe
Okay.
around
yeah,
the holidays.
Yeah, and you can wear your Christmas dunks to that episode.
Right.
I like that.
Absolutely.
So, but I wanted to talk to you because I've noticed over the years, I've seen you come to a couple games. You seem to be like a legit Eagles fan, right? You're into it. And then I know, you and then Trevor, who this is actually his house that we're at, one of the brothers here. He's a pro surf photographer, and he's in some of the fantasy leagues with some of the pro surfers.
Yeah.
And I noticed something. I want to talk to you about this. It sounds like a lot of these guys are choosing the Cowboys, meaning, you know how people don't, like guys from Hawaii, or
Yeah.
somebody, they don't have a local
The
team?
Hawaiian, yeah.
Because I'm seeing a lot of like Cowboys fans, and I noticed that, and it was kind of pissing me off. Like the guys from California, they're like, they're like Rams or Niners, but the guys from Hawaii and some of these other guys, it seems like they're choosing Cowboys. Do you see this?
Yeah, I did notice that. I don't know. I can't put a finger on it.
I can put a finger on it because it's that shiny star, America's team.
America's
Yeah,
team.
but
living
that
off
was
the
like in the
legacy.
70s. That's
Dude,
that,
they haven't won shit.
I imagine
Yeah, if you had your-
someone
No, no,
you
no.
would rather root for like the Patriots or something because
Right.
they
Yeah.
were the golden franchise.
See, I think
if
it's
you had
still a
no,
thing. I think it's still a thing.
Yes,
Like
it
I
is.
think the Cowboys, the allure of
well,
the
it
star.
obviously is. If
I think that'll be the next generation coming up. The younger kids will be all Patriots.
I don't want to pay
Yeah,
any
anyway,
more attention
yeah.
to the Cowboys in this
Exactly.
podcast.
I don't think so because I think the Patriots are like, it seems like, well, actually, I guess they made the playoffs this year with the rookie quarterback there. So maybe it's Belichick, not Brady, but it seemed like it was Brady, and that was coming to an end.
I'm just saying, like the same way the Cowboys
Like the 90s,
influenced
yeah.
fans from teams cities who don't have a team, that the Patriots probably did the same thing for. So it is weird that they went to the Cowboys. Like they haven't made the freaking playoffs.
Yeah, so you just could cold turkey pick whoever you want.
Yeah.
It is-
Well,
but
it's-
it's fun because it's better shit talking.
Like usually
There
you
you
pick
go.
a winner
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're picking a random team that.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah. why would
Hopefully,
pick a
too,
loser
because you come from
team
around
like the
here and you
Cowboys?
know it's a real football town. You know more. You can call these guys on the carpet for being surface level fans.
Well, if he grew up at Council Rock, I mean,
Right.
he's a Philly sports fan.
You were there till you're 15, right?
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Till
that's
15.
you're bona fide.
Yeah, that's
You got the best of both worlds. You did a great
Yeah,
job
up
with
until
this thing.
I'm 32, so I'm like 2 years a new further in Ocean City, but like for the majority of my surf
Yeah.
career, I lived in Pennsylvania longer than I lived in Jersey.
Interesting. Yeah, it really
So you
pissed
just
me
kind
off
of
the
know.
way these guys were choosing the Cowboys, but it is interesting.
It
that-
is weird, yeah. I
But
don't
they
know.
like to see like all these football guys or all these surfing guys give a crap about football. That's kind of a new thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think
and I
fantasy
think
is-
fantasy
Yeah.
is a big part of that, definitely.
which could be, maybe they don't even really care. It's just fantasy. They're going to see
Yeah,
their
and
guys
they got to
score
pick
points.
a team. But the Hawaiians, these guys go to Cowboys games, and
Are you
See,
serious?
that's what I'm talking
They're
about.
wasting
Yeah.
their money
Guys
on
from
that
Hawaii.
shit?
that's an
Are
expensive
going.
game for them. Yeah.
See, it's a real thing.
And yeah, well, you know.
Maybe some of these guys are a little older, but I still think there's an allure there that sickens me that people are choosing their team. But
I guess
whatever.
there has to be. Yeah.
It's fun. We get to still hate on that. You know what I mean? So we did just have July 4th, and you do something every year that I always think is really cool. So I wanted to get you to talk about this a little bit. So every year, they shoot the fireworks off in Ocean City off a barge. Is this right?
Yeah.
And what street is that? Like 9th or 10th?
Yeah, it's like off of 9th Street.
And that creates obviously a lot of light and stuff. And you have this thing where you and a crew of locals go out and surf under the fireworks. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's very cool. So did you do that?
Yeah, last night.
How was it?
It was awesome. It's awesome every year. It's funny. We started, my dad, my brother, and two of my other friends started it like, I think when we still lived in Pennsylvania, maybe when I was like 14 or something, we just went out in front of and sort of did it. And then every year we sort of made a tradition out of it. And then once we moved down here, sort of got affiliated with the 7th Street Surf Shop, kind of took our tradition, and then it kind of became a 7th Street tradition.
Yeah.
So it's been almost like 15
Damn.
years now, and it's grown into this sort of like tradition for everything. I made the mistake like 2 summers ago, posting it on Instagram before we went out,
right.
and there was like hundreds of people.
I mean.
Lifeguard got super pissed. What are you doing? Take that down. And sure enough, all these like just all walks of life came to paddle out during the fireworks. But it's cool to see it kind of grow from something my dad, brother, and I did to last night. There was probably 150 people out there surfing under the fireworks.
Yeah. So I always looked at that and was like, man, that would be cool to go down there. But when you're on the south end, it's like you can't go down. You know, it's too crazy to go down to the north end. You guys can all like
stuck.
Bike there or whatever. Well, you're in Marmora now, right?
I drove in last
wow,
night. I experienced.
That's ambitious.
That's
ambitious.
I took the alleys.
So I had a little
FOMO
FOMO watching your video, but then we do our thing down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody kind of stays
You guys
in there.
always do like Ocean City just. Polar bear plunge in the winter. Right. It's a big thing, but then you guys always host your own little one down here. Yeah. And I was part of that because when it was the one year was too cold for the polar bear plunge, they didn't have it. You guys held it, so then we came up.
When you
here.
say you guys, that was mostly these guys.
Yeah,
this last year was my first year.
Was it your first?
No.
Okay, so the Morants.
I traditionally been too much of a wuss to do the polar. Have you guys ever done a polar plunge?
No. Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Wouldn't even consider it.
It's another waff ass thing, dude.
Waffy called polar plunge waff.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Cold is waff, man. You don't want to mess with that. But that actually brings me. That's a perfect segue into something we alluded to earlier. You did the polar plunges here.
Yeah.
And then you decided that you were just going to do that every day for like 3 months, and you started going out and catching a wave every day in the winter in your board shorts.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
The polar bear plunge is sort of the catalyst, the inspiration. Like I do it at, like I said, it's another sort of tradition, Ocean City tradition that we do. Every New Year's Day, you go out, jump in the ocean, kind of resets the year, whatever you want to. It's fun. But every time I do it, I feel so good after. It's sort of you've done it.
It felt
this
good.
year.
This was my first time.
Yeah,
it did
so you feel good. You get
that
adrenaline.
I might not do it again, but it felt good. I mean, it felt great.
I take a cold shower and I brag to my wife. I'm like, I just took a freezing cold shower. It's pretty cool.
I don't even like getting out of a hot tub and walking into the house in like the wintertime. So
no cold for you. I got it.
You guys are crazy.
So it felt so good. You're like,
so that's the kind of inspiration. And then I've been seeing, like going to the gym and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of guys, and all athletes have been doing it for a while. That the cold therapy where they go in the ice bath. So I kind of looked in sort of the health benefits of that, and I've kind of known it because I've done ice baths like for recovery after working out and that kind of stuff. So I kind of know the benefits, but it's kind of become like a pretty trendy thing sort of now. And you got the like Wim Hof kind of getting popular. So there's definitely health benefits to it. So that was kind of why I was like, I'm gonna try to do it like every day. But like the ocean's right there.
I was watching this. There had to be some days where you're like. Because you committed to doing it, there had to be some
I committed
days
to doing it, and it was just a personal thing.
Yeah.
And I was just going to see how it goes, see how I felt. If it wasn't helping me or I didn't feel good, I wasn't going to do it. Again, made the mistake posting it on social media.
And
then I said I was going to do it every day for the rest of the winter, so there was no way that I couldn't or I would have got caught
What about
out.
when it was like big? I don't remember like seeing like did you actually have to like paddle out when it was like super stormy?
Yeah, so I did kind
modify
of
it.
Pick and choose. My goal was to catch a wave every day, but if it was like a day where I was just only going to be able to like catch a whitewash, then I would just go in without my board.
Right. But you kept it going.
But yeah, I did every single day.
That's amazing. Even if I decided to do that, I definitely would have woke up after like a day or two, like, I can't do this.
Yeah, there was some. It was funny.
That's why he's a pro.
The
That's
first
right.
10 days.
He's committed.
That's why you are interviewing the
Athleticism.
pro.
Yeah.
All I can do is talk.
And it was like
your parents were right, Jesse.
They were damn.
and that
right.
has
Spot
no
on.
that has nothing to do with being a skilled surfer or anything. But it's funny that on New Year's Day it was like 60 degrees.
Right.
So of course
That's why we did
it felt good for
That's why
you.
we
It
did
felt good for everyone. And I made that pack, and then like 2 days later we had like those back-to-back snowstorms where actually we're like for the first time ever Philly didn't get a lot of snow,
Right.
but we got
Oh,
hammered
you guys
down
got
here.
crushed this winter.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right.
So I did it. I just did it during the snowstorms, and then a lot of the Philadelphia news stations caught on, and it went viral up there.
There you go.
So then that's where the sort of following caught, where I was like, all right, now I had accountability where I couldn't not do it. So I did every single day till the last day of winter.
How many months was that?
January 1st to March 21st, I think it was like 79,
You must have been kind of
80
pumped
days.
that it was over, right?
It-
Or you just
Believe it
wanted
or
to
not,
keep going?
no. And I
Did you
feel
I
the health
kept
benefits?
going
Did you
after
feel
it
like-
because I kind of craved it. Yeah, I don't know if I felt like I don't know about the health benefits, but after like the first 10 days were rough, and with all the snow,
Yeah,
like my
yeah.
body was getting used to it. But it was crazy how quick the tolerance kind of built, and then it went from like waking up in the morning dreading like, oh, I gotta go out, like looking at the forecast like, oh, it's gonna be like a high of 20 today. I'm gonna wait till 3 in the afternoon when
Oh
it
my
might be the
God.
warmest, to like craving it and looking forward to going in, and was like, oh, it's gonna get up to like 30 today. Maybe I'll go early morning so it's like a little colder. So
I never
get
thought
that
about
thing.
the health benefits of just jumping in the cold ass ocean, but
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's
I'm
like
not a doctor,
the cryo
but you could-
chamber type shit.
Exactly,
The ice
yeah.
baths. Yeah, I never thought about that. I've
Yeah.
done the cryo
You want to
chamber.
explore it a little bit?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's just basically free cryo right
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
The
it just
the
makes sense,
water's
yeah.
cold, just
Just come
jump
on
in.
in.
So that
So-
was kind of how that came about.
Well,
then it
and I
just-
think, that was another thing that I think helped you get more visibility. And, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into, as we all know, right? Like, building I don't want to say building a following. It sounds so lame. But, like, having a viable platform for whatever
Sure.
you're trying to do. And the other thing that I think is super interesting to talk about, which might be something that maybe you guys can get involved in at some point because it's more controllable, is the proliferation of wave pools, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys probably, have you seen like a wave pool ever?
Yeah.
They used to have one like Dorney Park.
Right.
Like
They-
that kind of wave pool? Like the real, like...
Well, that's the thing. Now there are real ones, right? And so Rob has actually been involved he got involved with the wave pool company that has the technology that creates a wave, wherever there's a pool. And there's a couple in the country. There's one out in California. There's one in Texas, right? Japan. There's some really good ones popping up. And they all cost $1 gajillion. And eventually they'll be more commonplace. But it's become a real thing in surfing where there are really good wave pools. Back in the day, it was like we had that one at Dorney Park. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie North Shore. Have you guys seen the movie North Shore?
No.
No.
Isn't that in that movie that they have, or maybe it's the Arizona?
That's the Arizona one,
Okay,
but
I
they
got
did
it
have a
wrong.
world tour event
Right.
in the 80s. And I remember seeing like an old surf magazine and reading
Tom
that
Carroll,
and being
I
like,
think, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so they had a like legitimate world tour event at
like the
Dorney Park.
highest
No fucking
echelon.
way.
I swear to
Back
God.
in the 80s. And I remember thinking like, damn, like if they had that event now, that like I would probably get a wild card. That's the only way I get a wild card in the CT, or maybe you would have. We would have battled for it.
Yeah, no. You could win, and if it was that wave at Dorney Park, like
I could probably
I've
win
seen
a
you
world
surf small
tour
waves,
event, yeah.
you would win that event.
That was my
but,
chance.
But what's interesting is the technology has come so far. They're making like real, legit waves, and Rob has been involved with that, and so he's gone to some of these pools, especially. I think have you been to the Kelly Slater's wave pool before?
I haven't, because I'm working for the
Okay.
competing
Okay.
company.
So
I'm not
what's,
allowed.
what's the company called?
American Wave Machines.
Okay, they have a pool in Waco, Texas, of all
Yeah.
places.
Shout out David Koresh.
I was just gonna say,
Whoa.
make your David Koresh joke now. You don't
Like
have to join
blowing
it.
up.
2 miles from where that house
Oh my
or
God.
whatever.
Which
that's
is
where the pool
so
is.
weird. So
Wait,
weird.
that's right near where the wave
It's
pool
right
is?
there,
Oh,
yeah.
that's disgusting.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know how big Waco is, but I feel like you're probably near to it.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're anywhere in Waco.
But anyway, you put the Koresh thing aside, but you've been there. I mean, you've probably been there, what, like 10, 15 times now?
Oh, more than that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's this mechanical wave, and it allows you, when you're in the ocean, it's a moving playing field. You never get the same kind of wave twice. When you're in a wave pool, you get the
just
same,
repeating,
largely the
yeah.
same wave. So you can practice stuff, and people are doing things, Rob included, right? Really cool, tricks, airs, crazy stuff you've never seen. And
Barrels?
there are barrels. Now, it
Yeah.
hasn't gotten to the point where they're like big waves in a wave pool. Maybe that's the next frontier. But I just thought it would be
It's
interesting
possible,
to
yeah.
hear your view on it, like having gotten involved with it and seeing the whole thing grow, to somebody who doesn't even surf, the idea that there's these wave pools popping
Yeah.
up. It's pretty cool.
Well, let me ask you before you get started. Are these for like a water park, or are these for actual surfers to go practice?
For actual surfers
Okay.
to go practice,
this
or
big
just
fucking lake.
recreational.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not for like just anybody to go pretend to surf.
Yeah, no, they're
Okay.
built designed specifically for surfers.
Now, they all have like public sessions where you can go ride like the intermediate or the beginner setting and learn to surf.
Yeah.
But they can also crank it up to,
Right.
advance, and you can have real progression.
No, I was just trying to get a handle on if it was like a water park or more of a
Some of
private
them are.
So you've never seen one of those things?
the newer ones are sort
We'll
of
have to show them a clip.
Yeah, we should probably put one up.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
give
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys-
throw a
Yeah.
clip
Yeah.
over this for sure because
Definitely.
it'll blow your mind. I mean, it's
I remember the
just-
first
I
time I,
mean, I-
saw it, I was like,
I can
"Whoa, that's
visualize
fucking
it."
nuts.
Yeah, you would think it's like an ocean wave.
I was like, if they had those when I was growing up, I probably would have been a pro surfer like my man Rob.
Is that
over
right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
We need one in Philly.
I
Is
don't know
what we
about
need.
that. Maybe
I think you would have, Rock.
Yeah.
maybe at 14, your parents would have told you that life's not for you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Probably.
But anyway, so you've got involved with this, and now this is a big part of what you do, right? You're consulting with this, and you've been able to go a lot of cool places to check out these pools. That's got to be awesome.
Yeah, so I was drawn to it again. I know it's keep going back, but I guess it's good for the podcast. Growing up in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
I sort of always dreamed of a
Being
wave
Rick
pool.
Kane.
Yeah, having like a proper wave pool. At the time when we were kids, that didn't exist, but we
Yeah.
had Doyne Park and stuff. We were like, imagine if one day, there could be like a proper wave
Right.
they could build. So it's like it's like my dream sort of kind of be reality. So when these sort of popped up, I really asserted myself to sort of try to get involved, be one of the test pilots, and I got involved with this company, American Wave Machines, like 7 years ago when they built sort of their first prototype, smaller scale pool up north, and then fast forward a couple of years, they built the Waco, Texas one. I was there on sort of the first testing day.
I mean, like,
Literally a
let me
dream
be
come
the
true.
testing guy for
Yeah.
the new wave pool. Like, I got to give you a lot of credit.
You're not
man.
good
You've
enough.
done very well getting in all these.
That
little
was
windows.
definitely a dream come true highlight of my surf career, and then professionally, like the sort of business side of thing, that's opened a lot
Right.
of doors that way. But basically they're creating waves that are like as good or better than waves in the ocean, and the thought, not only are people gonna recreationally go and spend money to surf instead of going like on a surf trip to Costa Rica that's going to cost them a ton of money,
Right.
7 days out of your work life or whatever.
Yep.
You can go down, book a 2-hour session at the pool, catch more waves in 2 hours than you would a week in Costa Rica.
I didn't think about it like that.
So
Yeah.
what's better? What's better? Is it better to be at one of these wave pools where they get the perfect wave every time, or to be in?
No,
It's not just
But
like
I
I don't think it's
understand,
better.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's the goddamn convenience of
it's
it. Like you don't
convenience.
have to go to Costa Rica. Instead
Right.
you go an hour away or 2 hours
When you
away.
get to try over and over.
yeah,
and over.
there will be the ocean surfing
Yeah.
will always be. They're kind of separate things, but obviously everything that you kind of learn in the pool, you can definitely relate to the ocean, and that's elevated the sport like faster than probably any
Right.
sort of invention or technology in surfing.
It's interesting to
Ever.
me. Your like Pennsylvania, Jersey background makes you like uniquely situated for this opportunity because we
Yep.
both know what it's like to like be wanting to surf so bad. And
Yeah.
There's just no waves.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, if we had a freaking wave pool, we could surf. Which is why I hope ultimately they end up building some around here.
Yeah,
because
I know
we have
that.
so many flat spells in no time. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that.
Is that something that can be done around here?
I mean, dude, you can do anything with it if
Absolutely,
you have
yeah.
enough money. They're going to have to assess the viability. Like there's one now up in the American Dream Mall up in, the Meadowlands, right? And that
Oh,
makes-
it's indoors though, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's in
Gotcha.
the
Well,
mall,
it
yeah.
would
Think
have
they're
to
going to
be.
create them out in the ocean, man?
No, I think they might throw it in one of these dusty ass lakes around here. I don't know, but
That's what I
pretty
mean.
cold.
They do it in Waco, Texas, and I mean people fly from Tahiti, Hawaii
Yeah.
every single day to go surf.
but it's what's the
That
what's
pool.
the what's the low in Texas?
It gets kind of cold in the winter there, doesn't it? They actually shut down for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
shut down.
Okay.
I've been down there where I've surfed that pool like in the gear that I would surf here in February.
Right.
Because what happens there, like whatever the air temperature is, that's what the pool is going to be. So
Okay.
when it drops like into the 20s at night,
They don't
that
heat it.
pool is basically frozen. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
surfed it like 30 degrees there.
That's nothing
so
for you,
surfer,
though, right?
it's nothing. It's what we do out here. So I think
everyone else on the
ideally,
trip
we had other guys from Hawaii and stuff. They were
not feeling it.
Didn't know what to do. But my dream is to eventually sort of be involved any way that I can sort of facilitate having a pool in New Jersey or Pennsylvania. That would be my ultimate sort of like pipe dream from
King
personally.
of Prussia Mall, so I can get my
problem is
and
to bring it full circle, it'd be filled up with Shoobies. You know what I mean?
It would be
it's
filled
just
up
a
with
bunch of
Shoobies.
Barneys. But look, I
They'll be
share that
making us
dream.
money, yeah.
I've daydreamed about that many times. But
I feel like you're probably one of the guys that could have some connections.
Oh,
there
you
it
think?
is.
You think I'm
CapEx
gonna?
is like 30, 40 million. You just need the land.
Okay, yeah. I don't know who you think you're dealing with here. I don't.
Did you notice?
I saw you at the OD.
Hey.
Everyone
okay.
knew who you
Hey,
were.
we were at the OD last week.
Jason Kelsey knew you by first name.
Throwing a few back, saying hello to some Eagles, which was fun. But just to bring it full circle here, I wanted to get into, before we wrap this thing, some of the behaviors that you've seen, right? Because the beach is a strange place, right? Everybody does different stuff down there. You got to know this better than anyone. You've got this influx of people, don't know much about the beach, what they're doing, some of the things you may have seen. Maybe you could give some tips even to people that come from Pennsylvania and doing some dumb stuff, like how do you not be such an idiot? How do you, appear more like a local? Like, what are the rules? I'm opening this up to everybody because I know you're not as much of a beach guy, but Meech, you got to have some good stuff here. So anything anybody's got, but from your perspective, are there things that, like, every summer when this group of people, this massive amount of people come in, there's got to be things that annoy you, like the boardwalk? That's just a disaster. It's a mess up there.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
the town gets turned upside down in summer, no
Right.
doubt. That's part of the fun, though. It makes the winters kind of better, and then
Yeah.
when the winter, you're kind of craving that mayhem again. The change of season is good, but there's definitely some things that annoy me. And again, sort of having that unique perspective, sort of
can relate.
from shoobie
You
to
can relate.
whatever you want to call it now. I think it's just the biggest thing that annoys me is the shoobies that come down here that are. It seems like so many of them are in a bad mood. They're here on vacation, and it's mostly the dads. Maybe I can sort of relate. They're down here with their kids,
Pain in the ass
spending
kids.
a ton of money to rent a house for the weekend,
Yeah, I
an
can
hour
relate to
from
that.
their residence.
They don't even want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
You get down there, you're hot, you
But
carried all that.
as a former summer resident of Ocean City, the thing I liked best about it is, like, I used to hate people that rent it near me. Like, there were certain people I would hate, like, can't wait. But in a week, they'll be gone.
There'll
And
be
new
the
people,
changeover, yeah.
It's like, it's just that changeover. And then new people, and
It's a
those people will
rotation
be
of
nice.
assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
It's
people
a grumpy
leave.
Shoobies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
problem is they show up like all happy, oh yeah, it's like our summer vacation. Then it's like 95 degrees. They're lugging stuff every day. Their kids are having tantrums.
Yeah,
By the end, they're just like,
Well,
I gotta get the hell out
angry
of here.
Shooby
Would you mind
dads.
if I told a quick story
I would
real
love
quick?
it if you told a story.
When we were kids and we were at 51st Street, we would be at the 52nd Street basketball courts, playground all the time. And I used to play basketball there, and it was posted up there that you could only play from 9 in the morning till, say, 10 at night. I used to get there at 11:30. There'd be some guy across the street who would scream, tell me he's going to call the cops if I don't leave there. Then we'd play baseball. We'd hit homers onto his yard, and he'd steal our tennis balls, right? He was like just a mean curmudgeon, just no respect for anyone. We hated the guy. So then we started like egging his house. We started doing, we had water balloon launchers, and we'd fill up water balloons with like shampoo and like.
They're gonna say piss.
Yes, yeah.
No, I mean we weren't pissing in balloons, but it would be just as bad. But the greatest thing we did the one night we when one of my buddies had a Jeep, he had his sister's Jeep. We all drove around and we got every for sale and for rent sign in the neighborhood. There was probably like 15 to 20 of them, and we put them on this dude's lawn. So he woke up the next morning, all he saw was for sale and for rent signs. And meanwhile, he couldn't clean up all the eggs on his head. Like this guy's house was,
That's pretty good.
and he sold and moved away
Because of
Wait
you
a-
guys.
hey,
You
wait a-
probably
No,
drive him out.
It was because he was an asshole.
No, he probably
He
sold his house
started.
because he was like, you know what, I gotta get out of here because these little asshole kids.
You won the war.
I won.
Yeah, you won the war.
You won the war. Yeah, no.
Well done.
Just don't be an asshole to me.
We are a stone's throw from there. Well, there's lots of stuff that you see on the beach, and I think you know, the one thing you always see is, and I do this too, it's like the lazy man's load. You know what I mean? You're trying to carry 8 things. You're trying to make it on that one trip. So it's no surprise by the time you get down there, you're in a terrible mood. And then you sit down, you got bugs. You know, some days it's good, some days it's bad.
Yeah.
But one thing I was thinking about is like everybody now has the Bluetooth speaker, you know?
Oh.
And like, there's got to be some parameters on that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like,
I'm not even a beach guy, and I find that annoying whenever I come to the beach. I'm like, I don't want to hear your fucking Kenny Chesney over
No,
here.
You know what? It's the funniest thing.
put it in your
It's always
headphones.
Kenny
Yeah,
Chesney.
The funniest thing that you
That's
should
what
say.
is it,
listening
Wes?
to.
I kid you not. It was yesterday. There was this group in front of us. They were loud talkers, and then the Kenny Chesney, the Tattoo, and the Yoo-Hoo song or whatever came on, and they were like singing it in unison. And that's something for me that particularly pissed me off. Is there anything else that you guys think of when you go to the beach that really pisses you off, or are we tapped out on that?
I would say, I mean, just by me coming to the beach, probably because I come down on when it's a little bit busier. I guess these like holiday weekends and stuff.
Right.
When it's like crowded and you get somebody who like kind of like
Comes close.
to you, I'm like, yeah, let me get my space, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
The only thing that really bothers me on the beach, I'm very relaxed when I'm on the beach. The only thing that bothers me is when I'm laying in a chair and some kid comes running by kicking up sand, and you're like, what? Like, bro, you gotta run with your legs up that high, like flipping sand onto everywhere you go. And I think they do it on purpose. These little snot-nosed kids.
You were probably one of those kids back in the day.
I was
doing that.
never one of those.
Oh, come on.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
I would never do that to somebody.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
That is super annoying. Or if you're like laying down, you know, and somebody comes up near you and splashes sand. A lot of people don't understand the dynamic of the wind, you know,
Right.
pushing the
Yeah.
sand, or you shake your towel out, you know.
The umbrella.
There's a lot of things you can get irritated about at the beach.
But for the most part, when I'm on the beach, I'm very calm. That's my little sanctuary. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the other day I was walking down and I had the longboard out, right? Because you know the waves weren't very good and the thing's heavy as hell. By the time I had the slow walkers, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
I'm coming up, and up at our beach, there's, you know, all the beaches really have that little narrow thing, and the slow walkers are in front of me. And I don't know what to do. I'm kind of going to the right, I'm going to the left, and you know it's a very terrible situation.
They got to move out of the way, like a foursome that's in front of you in golf that
Right.
just plays way
you think
too
that's
slow.
the
Just
etiquette?
step to the side, let me get
Yeah.
by, and then step back on to the.
Yeah. It's all about being on your own
And
pace.
to
but
tie it all together, I had the lazy man's load. You know what I mean? So I'm irritable. I'm sweaty. I'm just like, can you please get out of my way?
yeah.
These are very minor inconveniences we're complaining about
Seriously.
right now.
First
You know,
world problems.
That's what we do. We complain about the stupid little things. I actually realized I was watching the fireworks the other night, and I came up with a new thing. The finale guy. I'm the person who's like, I think that's the finale. Is that the finale? Here comes the finale. Guys, that's the finale in Ocean
You're the
City.
finale
There's
guy?
the finale at Seagull. I was like, I'm the finale guy.
That's a dad
Wow.
thing for sure.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Kids, look, there's
Definitely
the
a
finale.
dad
Yeah.
But you know the funny thing is, it's not the finale. And they're
It
like,
never
no, wait. Here comes the finale. This is the
And you're
finale.
like, I don't think it's it, and then it stops.
Yeah,
And you're like,
you know what it's like.
it-
You're in the water. You're in the ocean. Like, here
Yeah.
comes the finale.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
good stuff.
Well, hey, awesome to have you here. Glad we got to do
It's
this.
fun.
Gentlemen, thank you for making the trek.
Rob, nice meeting you, my man.
Yeah, nice meeting
Hey.
you guys too.
What about the? We didn't talk much about the
Voice
YouTube
sensors.
channel. You know the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we're
that
getting down to-
Numbskull's fucking logo
Oh, yeah.
rules. I
Yeah.
wanted to tell you that's like
Oh, yeah.
one of the coolest logos. Like, if you're gonna have a cool brand, you gotta have a cool ass logo.
Of course,
and
yeah.
that's definitely.
Kind of like the City Pigeons logo. But no,
Yeah.
give it. How about a plug for Numbskulls, man? Go check it out.
Yeah.
If you're listening to
plug,
all this
plug
stuff,
all your shit, your YouTube channel, your.
go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Next thing that's kind of coming up, the last year we've been Numbskulls, which is basically just myself and a filmer, but then we sort of include like all our friends, sort of the supporting cast when we chase swells. But this past year we actually partnered with Surfline, so we haven't really put anything out for a whole year.
Wow.
And we're premiering that in Asbury Park on July 29th.
Awesome.
So basically and we had a really good year of waves this year, so we got a lot of good footage, a lot of
Nice.
snowstorms, a lot of cool stuff that hasn't been shown yet. So July 29th, Asbury Park. It's at the Asbury Hotel. There's like this outdoor
Perfect.
venue.
So now we're pumping an actual event and
Yeah,
the
that's-
Numbskulls YouTube channel. Check it out if you're hearing this, watching this, and you want to check out all the crazy stuff Rob does. You can check him out at Rob Kelly Instagram,
Yeah, at Rob Kelly Surf.
at Rob Kelly
That
Surf,
sort of all
Instagram.
leads back
Yeah.
to the.
I was thinking about it. It must be hard to sit on footage when you get it, right? Because you want to like chuck it right into the air,
Yeah.
but you're holding it back for this one piece of content.
Yeah,
right?
especially this sort of day and age, it's really
it's
tough to do
Do
that.
your sponsors like kind of like, hey, you got something for me? Can you send me something? Or you just like,
you got
You
to
let
kind
'em
of
know.
stay active.
Yeah.
But yeah, the partnership with Surfline was worth it for us, so we agreed, and we're kind of co-producing it with them. They're helping. So it's exciting. It's sort of their Surfline is like the biggest surf media. It'd be
Yeah.
like I don't know. how to
ESPN
compare
of
it.
surf?
It's
Yes,
ESPN of
it
surf.
is.
That's
They
perfect.
created a website that tells you if the waves are going to be good, right?
Yeah, I'm
So
on there all the time checking it out.
You're
Yeah.
checking it out,
Yeah.
checking to see if the conditions
See
are
how
flat enough
where
for
I
you to
can
go drown.
most efficiently.
Right. Well,
Where I
Rob,
can drown the
hey,
quickest.
continued success.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, man.
And
Good to see you
we're
guys
gonna
in the water.
we're gonna make this an annual thing, right? So we're gonna come back next year, and we've got about a year now to think about how to blow this up even bigger. We may even come back to the Bronco Bar. I'm not sure.
wouldn't be
Maybe we can
opposed
get
to
them
that.
to renovate this and add some different amenities. What do you
Take
think
some
about that?
windsurf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been dope
None
if
of
we
that.
could have saw some of that 4th of July footage, man. That would have been
Yeah.
cool.
Well, we're gonna
I
actually
got you.
we got that.
Oh,
we're
you
gonna
got
roll.
that?
We're gonna
Yeah.
roll some of that
Sick.
in there. We're gonna roll some of that
Whatever
in
you
there.
guys need.
So awesome! Thanks for coming, gentlemen. Thanks for making the trek.
Thanks for having me.